I'm Dave Mann. This is the Six Pack. And, we do a pretty serious show from time to time, but we also like to kind of let our hair down, so to speak, and rock out from time to time. A week from tonight, Def Leppard hits the Schottenstein Center with Journey. Going to be a hell of a show, and one half of the Def Leppard Guitar Attack joins me now. Vivian Campbell. Vivian, how you feeling, man? You feeling good?
I am feeling very well, Dave. Thank you so much.
Tell me about this tour now, because isn't this like the third leg that just recently got back underway?
Correct, yeah. This is the start of the third leg of this tour with Journey. It's a co-headline tour. We've only toured with Journey once before. That was 12 years ago in 2006, and it was a big tour then, but this tour is epic. This really is big.
It has been huge. In Columbus, you're doing the Schottenstein Arena, but in a lot of markets, you've been doing outdoor stadiums. Do you have a preference? Do you like the intimacy more of an arena?
Yeah. I guess, Def Leppard's music is big. It's a big sonic landscape, and our presentation is big. Everything about the band is bombastic, if you like. So the bigger the venue, the better we play. Actually, the band has been playing great on this tour, better than ever, and we've all really been enjoying playing the stadiums. We just played Fenway a few nights ago.
Yeah.
That was the first show back for this leg. We've played at Wrigley, Comerica Park, a bunch of others lined up. So it's been massive. It's great fun, and a lot of younger kids in the audience too. Which is the upside of music piracy after all these years. We've sort of crossed that generational thing. We have probably 30% or so of the audience are young enough to be our kids, so that's refreshing, and that's a new kind of energy in the audience that we kind of feed off, because we all have always fed off the energy of our audience. That's always been very vital to our performance.
Bit of a cliched question, but you guys could play 2.5 hours on your own with all your hits, as could Journey. But a 5-hour show with an intermission just isn't going to work. So how do you pare it down, and is that a democratic process? The hits sort of, the show dictates itself. The thing about Journey and Def Leppard is both bands have really, really deep catalogs. Yeah, to say the least.
And so this has to be a hit tour. We also, 2018 marked the first time that the entire Def Leppard catalog was available online, for streaming and download, due to long-running contractual dispute that we had with our original record label, because, the band's been together for 40 years, and that was way before the internet and way before iTunes and Spotify and all that. So that was never written into the contract. So we've had a long-running dispute, as I said. We finally managed to resolve that last year, and then in January of this year, the entire catalog went online, and I think that, in order to celebrate that and recognize that, we sort of have to play the hits, especially when you're with a band like Journey, because they do have so many great hit songs, and we've got to go toe-to-toe with that,
Yeah, Vivian Campbell joining me from Def Leppard and Journey at the Shot a week from tonight. And speaking of streaming and stuff, the band recorded a single for Spotify sessions. You covered Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus. Sounds like you guys had a lot of fun with it. Whose idea was that? How did that come about?
I'm actually taking credit for that. That was my idea to cover that song.
For real?
That wasn't my first choice. My first choice was, and don't laugh, but I think we would have knocked this out of the park. We would have done a great version because of Def Leppard's vocals, bearing in mind that we were a really, really strong vocal band. I wanted to do an ABBA cover. That was my first choice, was Knowing Me, Knowing You by ABBA. I thought we would rock that, but it perhaps is a little bit too pop. My second choice I presented was Personal Jesus, and that's what we went with, and I think we did a really good version of it.
Is that part of the set list now?
It's not. We actually play it leading into the show during the countdown. It's the last song before we take the stage. It's possible that we might incorporate it at some point. Probably not on this tour, though.
You've been in the band since '92, but you're still the most recent member to join. Do they still treat you like the new guy?
Yeah, they do. They make me carry their luggage. And
hazing rituals.
Clean their car. Yeah. They steal my lunch money. Yeah, Ronnie Wood's been in the Stones for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
As the new guy. So, yeah, I'm the Ronnie Wood of Def Leppard. There you go.
What about your guitar counterpart, Phil Collin? I'm not trying to start anything, but does he work harder on his playing or his abs?
Oh, definitely the abs. Yeah.
That's got to be kind of intimidating standing.
For many years, it's kind of where you don't really need to work on it a lot. I actually find as a guitarist, I play better sometimes if I step back from it for a week or two and don't play. You know, you come back to it and then you're fresh. And that's also the reason why we do these little side projects when we're not working with Def Leppard. I think that when we all come back together with Leppard, there's sort of a freshness to it, you know, because we've been able to go off and exercise a different muscle doing something else.
Vivian Campbell from Def Leppard joining me. That show a week from tonight at the Schottenstein Center. Before Def Leppard, you were most notably in Whitesnake, and then, of course, Dio. I mean, Ronnie James Dio. How has recording and life on the road changed since those days?
Oh, everything about it has changed. I mean, recording, you know, you had to get it right. You had to play it pretty much live back then. You know, we were recording the 2-inch tape back in the early 80s, before digital technology. You know, It is a lot easier, so much easier to make records nowadays. It's more difficult, perhaps, to remember to keep some personality in it because it is too easy to manipulate audio as well as any digital medium. The touring business has changed. It has become more about packaging, you know, putting bands together and making more of an evening for people rather than just an evening with one band. That's changed a lot. Obviously, the cost of going to a show has gone up. It's skyrocketed. I'm not too sure how that happened, but, you know, I remember, you know, when Leppard were in the early days, and when I was playing with Ronnie Dio back in the early 80s, you could buy a concert ticket for like $7.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
What happened there, I don't know. But it's a very, very, very different business all around nowadays. And, you know, there's some better elements to it, some not so good, I think. But I've had a funny career, an interesting career.
Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard and Dio back in the day. And, you know, you kind of referenced before side projects, and you do have a Dio-related side project called The Last in Line. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, Last in Line was the name of the second album we did with Dio.
Great album.
And, yeah, thank you very much. It was a great band. The original Dio band was just monstrous. I mean, just incredible. Ronnie was the best of his genre. The band, Vinny Appice on drums and Jimmy Bean on bass and myself on guitar. It was just a powerhouse unit. And, you know, Ronnie and I, we didn't part on very good terms. And we both made the mistake of airing our dirty laundry in public. You know, unfortunately, Ronnie passed away back in 2010, and about a year and a half after that, I just wanted to play a lot more guitar, and I called Vinny and Jimmy, and we went into a rehearsal room, and we put out an album in 2016. We're actually mixing our second album now. It'll be out early next year, and the band's called Last in Line. It's a very fun little thing. I get to play a lot of guitar in that band. I actually don't sing. You know, they keep asking me, do you want a mic? Do you want to sing? And I said, no, I get enough of that with Def Leppard. You know, I just want to play guitar.
Vivian Campbell, guitarist of Def Leppard. They'll be in town a week from tonight, Schottenstein Center with Journey. I know you got to jump, and you kind of referenced this earlier, but I know you got a birthday coming up on the 25th. I see you guys will be in Nashville, so that could get a little wild, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it was wild back in the day. You know, they used to bring strippers and stuff up on stage with a birthday cake, but there's nothing like that goes on nowadays. You know, it's more like we have a little wine and cheese party backstage. It's all very civilized. You know?
Well, Vivian, I really appreciate your time, and best of luck on the remainder of the tour, and we'll see you in a week at the Schottenstein Center. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Lovely to talk to you. Have a good.
Uploaded by Rock Beauty.